Hey, it's Elisa, the Half Asian Tarot Queen. I finished the giveaway for the Mystical Shaman, but I'm still using it because I still love this deck. I'm gonna pick a few cards from this. Oh, we've got the arrow on the bottom of the deck when I opened it up. There's been a lot of readings with the arrow in it. But the arrow is kind of a card of, you know, hitting your arm mark and being in alignment. Obviously, there's like a lot of flux for everyone. It's like this new reality is really sinking in, you know, for everyone. So we kind of had this moment of reflection, but now it's just like, you know, it's clear there's no going back to how things were at one time. Oh my gosh, okay. It's funny because right when I said that, there's no going back to how things were, there's this card of the Blade, which is sort of a card of just cutting out the slop and like the harsh truth, you know, sinking in. Okay. So I picked 4, which isn't the normal thing, but that's what happened. So we got the Wind, the Blade, Fire, and Lightning. So these are pretty, this is a pretty climactic combination, and it's interesting because I was like, I got up this morning and I was just like, I don't know, it just feels like today is going to be a big day, so I should check in, and yeah, it seems like that's the case. So this is a card of change, you know, the wind is blowing, things are changing, there's no denying it, like, here it comes. And then this is a card of harsh truths being delivered, you know, we're cutting out the slop, there's no going back, like, this is the way things are. And then we have Fire, which is a card of, like, passion and, you know, your inner fire, but it's also a card of just, like, sort of like rising from the ashes and being transformed. Like, this is a very transformative combination. Like, I mean, everything in this. And then finally, the last card, which has come up a bunch in the last couple months, is Lightning. So this is a card of just like the universe is kind of like hitting you with a jolt of awareness, and like your perspective is going through a big shift. So this, like, everything here is all about like some huge shift is happening. But this kind of portends like that it's a positive change, you know, like we're being transformed by circumstance, but it's a good thing. So whatever is gonna happen today, it looks like it's gonna be big. So I'm gonna go to the ethereal visions and pick some overall energies for the reading, and see where we're at. But yeah, it is really interesting because, you know, obviously everyone in the planet is going through like these huge shifts, and it's a really difficult time for pretty much everyone. Wow. Okay. So at the bottom of the deck, we've got the Wheel of Fortune. So this is a card of a big shift, you know, like the wheel is turning. What's down is up, what's up is down. Like, life as you know it doesn't exist anymore. Pretty much what the other cards were saying. But when I go to the overall energies, we got the Five of Swords, the Five of Pentacles, and fives are definitely cards of like change. So, and then we have the Knight of Pentacles. So, this is a card of sort of like winning, but like at a cost, you know? So it's just like this person has sort of emerged as this victor, but there's like these two people walking away, and that's kind of sad. So it's just sort of like there's going to be winners and there's going to be losers, and like it's harsh, you know? And I think that's definitely true with respect to this whole coronavirus situation that we're all going through, you know? I mean, it's not it's not pleasant, and there's a lot of people that are like really suffering, you know? And then we have the Five of Pentacles, which this is a card of lack, you know? I mean, there's this like mom and this child, and they're suffering, you know? And in the traditional deck, it's like there's this person on crutches, and like they're cold and they're shivering, but they're right outside of this church, you know? There's like actually the help and the resources that they need are there, you know? But it's like on the other side of like a wall, you know? So this is also a card of lack, you know, which is an energy that needs to be healed in order to like receive abundance. So, you know, I think this speaks to, you know, whatever this change is that's coming in, it's going to involve the loss of, you know, life as we know it, like a certain amount of security, obviously, and it's just speaks, I think, to the difficulty of the change, you know. But the last card we have is the Knight of Pentacles, which is a little bit hopeful. I mean, it's a lot hopeful, because the Knight of Pentacles is kind of like the most solid of all the knights in the deck, you know. The other knights are all kind of like fly-by-night, you know. But this knight builds things to last, you know. He's like moves slow, but like he builds a solid foundation, and he builds things that last. So that's hopeful. It's just like we have to like break down what was in order to start on this new path. But this new path is actually, despite how it might appear right now, is built on a solid foundation. So that's hopeful. I'm going to pull some cards from the Tattoo Tarot to get some general energies about where we're going with all of this. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be a tough day. But I kind of knew that already. It's like life as you know it. It's not sticking around. Like things are gonna have to change clearly, and it's not gonna be an easy one. But you know, we're on the road to something better, or something solid. Okay. Whoa. Wow. Okay. This is getting interesting. I'm going to pull like 3 more cards. Whoops. Okay. Alright. At the bottom of the deck, we have the Knight of Wands, which is this. It's kind of funny because when I first looked at it, it looked like a Mexican wrestling mask, you know. But this is like a player type of energy. We have a whole thread about this guy, this player. And he's kind of like this Don Juan, and he's real popular with the ladies, but he's not exactly Mr. Stability, you know. It's not like marriage material necessarily, but he's real fun, you know. We have the Queen of Cups. We have the World. And we have Justice. So, the Queen of Cups you know, she rules from the heart, you know, from emotion. And it's interesting because she fell out right under this Five of Swords, you know, so there's like, there's some situation where someone's coming out on top, and then there's a couple people who aren't, you know. And so this kind of implies that this Queen of Cups might be like coming out on top, you know. So that could be a water sign, like a Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. But we have the Five of Pentacles, which is sort of like a card of lack. And this is like an energy that needs to be healed so that you can receive your abundance. There's a whole thread where this energy has been coming up a lot called stalkers, because it's like, this can be the foundation for some really toxic situations, you know. But we have, on top of that, we have the World, which is indicating kind of like the end of this energy, like this energy has been healed. So the end of this stalker situation. And then we have justice. So justice is being served, and then we're starting on this new path. So, you know, even though whatever this is that's happening is harsh, like it is kind of indicating that it's actually like a just outcome, and that we're kind of moving towards something solid that's built to last. Okay, so on the next road we have the Two of Swords, the Hanged Man, and we have the Knight of Swords. So this is a card of stalemate and of blockage, which is interesting because, you know, we've been blocking abundance from coming in. So it's just like this Queen of Swords, perhaps, or Queen of Cups that's been on top, you know, has maybe been like blocking the situation from evolving, perhaps. So maybe it's like totally coming from this realm of the heart. And so that was my mom, but it's like this is a time of big change. So it's like you know, we're gonna have to like come from like a place of logic, you know, because we can't just like wear our heart on our sleeve, you know, like at this time, it's just sort of like there's like these harsh truths coming down, and we got to deal with them, you know, like times are harsh, you know. So it's just like we're gonna have to come from a more logical place in order to like move through this moment. But you know, this lack energy, you know, we're ending this, we're like healing this so that we can like step into our abundance. But we're gonna have to sacrifice something on the road to that, you know, whatever this blockage was. And the Knight of Swords indicates like a sort of fast-moving energy that's coming in, like some message of truth or clarity that's going to bring justice, and that's going to sort of like put us on this new path. So it sounds like whatever this is, it's going to be harsh for some people. And you know, it's like we're all having to deal with these certain financial realities right now, and sometimes that can be really harsh, you know, and we're gonna have to make sacrifices maybe that we didn't want to make, or you know, didn't think we were gonna have to, but like that's kind of the moment that we're in, you know. We kind of have to cut the slop out, and we have to move forward, you know. So it's not an easy moment, but I'm going to pull 3 cards from Ethereal Visions to get some guidance about how we might move through these energies, and we'll go from there. But yeah, it's just like we're not going to be able to take everything forward, so it's just sort of like we're going to have to distill it down to the like basic essence, like what's most important to you, and that's going to be like the foundation for the future moving forward, you know. But we're going to have to like distill it down to the essence, because we can't bring everything with us into the future. It's like, it's just not possible. So we have the Nine of Wands on the bottom, which is the Wounded Warrior card, you know. And this is a card of just sort of like being beaten and bruised and bandaged, you know, but you're not giving up, but you're just sort of like, you kind of want to, you know. It's just, we've all been through the ringer, you know. We're just like ready for things to start looking better, you know. But we have, so we have the Six of Cups and the Nine of Cups and the Well. So this is actually really nice. This is a card of like a deep soulmate connection, like maybe from the past, like a deep love connection coming through. So it's just sort of like, and then we have the Nine of Cups, which is a card of like wish fulfillment and like bringing your wishes in. And then we have the card of the Well, which is the Earth. And it's a card of, you know, sort of like the creatrix, like where everything comes from, you know, and which is interesting because it fell right under this fire card, and, which is like sort of this phoenix rising from the ashes. So it's just like we're getting back to our roots and like what's really important to us, and what we really want to bring forward, because we can't bring everything. So it's just like we're gonna have to distill it down to that. But that's actually like a very productive foundation to build this sort of like new era on, and we're gonna have like a lot of resources that are gonna come out of this, you know, by just like focusing on what's important to us, and just like simplifying, you know, because it's like you can get lost in like all the distractions that are out there in the world, and it's really easy to do. And sometimes it's like, even though it's not that pleasant, and it's maybe not what we're wanting to happen, just having to simplify things down to like what is really meaningful to us is maybe a good thing. Okay, so we have the Starseed Oracle, which is a card, a really awesome oracle deck that I just got, and I'm going to pull a card from that to end the reading. But yeah, this is like some tough stuff. It's just like, what are you really made of, you know? And that's kind of where we're at, because, oh, okay. Well, it looks like two cards fell out. So we got lifting the veil, questioning everything, anything unaligned must go. Yeah, so we have to like cut the slop, like down to what, and then we the Hathors, deep love, mother milk, birth as a portal. Wow, that's pretty much right on. Like, you know, we've got to distill it down to like what's really important, and then that's going to be the foundation for this new beginning, which is great. Beautiful, deep love. Okay, so I'm going to read that We Are the Hathors card of where we're headed. We the Hathors. Birth is the portal that ushers in new life. The Hathors are here to remind you that you are the child of the Cosmic Mother, and you're being called to be held by her deep, never-ending love and embrace. There's a tender, nourishing card. This is a tender, nourishing card reminding you to receive the deep, deep love of the Mother's embrace. The Hathors know that the journey on Earth can be rocky and lonely at times, but you're being reminded to rest more deeply in the Mother's arms. This is a card of extreme potency, of femininity, of creation, and of birth. You're being called to mother yourself and others too, to surrender to your sacred femininity, to create and surrender to your own creations, to hold and be held. You're being called to remember your place in the web of life and to realize that the Cosmic Mother is watching you every step of the way. You may be going through a transition right now, moving from one way of being to another, If so, you're being reminded that you're cradled in a sacred container, that you're more held than you can possibly imagine, and you have access to more love than your heart can hear. If you're snuggling in any way, you're being reassured. If you're struggling in any way, you're being reassured that things will work out. Open yourself to receiving the overflowing love of the Cosmic Mother flooding towards you from every direction. Let it stretch your heart.